Sounds
YouTube.
marvelous.
Yes.
So
Marvelous.
it is live right now. There we go. All right, everybody. We're minus Isaac this week. That's okay. He has important things.
He's a very busy man.
He's a busy little guy. All right. Everybody got their Audacity ready to go?
Ready.
Yep.
All right. Oh, I wanted to mention before we start the audio. Hold on one second. Down after Game Scoop's 20 questions, which Josh, hopefully you have a question or a game for that.
I can. I forgot. Well, since Isaac said he wasn't going to be on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a couple in mind, so I'll pull one.
Okay. I have the SDGamer Game Club idea. So here's my idea, and I was going to mention it before we started recording, because I thought if we as a group, 3 or 4 of us, picked a game to play through, and then our community would play through it with us, and we'd play like the first X amount. And obviously, this is going to have to be like a story-driven game. X amount, and then have a specific podcast or like a half hour to talk about that particular game, whether it's a new game or an old game, something that we all play together and play the same amount. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that idea?
It's a cool idea. I mean, I don't know if I mean, do you think are we gonna make this like very small portions because not everybody can play the same amount?
Right. I would make it very small, and I would say for us, for sure, the 3 of us, and then anyone else that wants to join in with that, and try to make a game that would be, easily accessible, or everybody has, or it could even be a real old game. It doesn't have to be something brand new. Just a thought I had. So, all right, Audacity.
Let me go back to it.
Wait. Let me pull up my
Oh
game
my
real quick.
gosh! It went back up to 19 hours. What the? Are we on YouTube?
Yeah.
Hey, YouTube. How's it going? I'm so frustrated. I'm gonna have to definitely figure that out when this is done. This is really bugging me.
Okay, I got my game.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Audacity in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 71 of the South Dakota Gamer Podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Welcoming me.
The podcast about games and game things, hosted by some normal guys that like to play said games. I'm one of those guys. My name is Chad. Joining me this week, also, as usual, Dave Mann.
Yes, me, Bagel Dogs.
And also joining us, as usual, Joshua Owens.
I'm here.
Yeah, he is. Wearing that White Sox hat.
Yeah, my girlfriend bought it for me, so I have to wear it every now and then.
From the blank state of Indiana, insert whatever adjective you want.
Amazing, awesome, super great. That's like a hyphenated one. It's 2 adjectives, but I'm going to allow it. Super cool, also a hyphenated one. I was just having this conversation.
The adjective debatable.
I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend and my parents, and they don't understand why I love this state so much, and they live here. My girlfriend lives in Illinois, and she doesn't understand why I love Indiana so much.
Compared to Illinois,
it's one of the greatest states ever, if not the greatest state ever. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't care what anybody says. You can
Hometown
argue
pride.
with me, but you'd be wrong.
Wow.
Indiana has given us such great things as the song Gary, Indiana, from the famed Broadway musical Music Man. It has also given us awesome people like William and Gloria Gaither. It has given us people like John McLaughlin and songs such as Indiana and The Middle. So,
okay, Michigan.
I mean,
Motown.
Is this the state?
Detroit Red Wings. Vehicles. Motorized.
Welcome to South Dakota Gamer, where we talk about our favorite states
and all the water our country has.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
South Dakota. your corn that you eat. You're welcome.
Indiana's got corn too, pal.
You're welcome. All right,
Corny.
so speaking of awesome and super and hyphenated adjective things, how about a Patreon? That's a super awesome thing.
That's a super awesome thing without a hyphen.
Oh wait, I have to
but
say this. Wait, I have to say this before we segue into that. Being from Michigan, that we were bringing up states, I sang in Ohio this weekend, and everybody treated me like utter crap. I just want to put that out there. Ohio people are ignorant.
There's nothing good about Ohio.
Well, okay.
Sorry, Ohio listeners.
Crossing that line.
Yeah,
Literally, we're with Larry Gatlin, and we're on the stage, and they go, "He's from Michigan," and like 800 people booed in unison.
Wow. I didn't know there was a rivalry.
And then chanted OHIO back to me.
Oh,
Did you just say "Go Blue"?
Because they hate Ohio
I
State.
actually said "Go Blue" in the middle of a song.
Nice.
I was singing
You
Elvira.
antagonized them.
I did it. And some more people booed. And then some people were like, "Oh, you want all against you since you're from Michigan." And I said, "Well, you talk really dumb, so I don't feel that bad." I actually didn't say that. I just said, "Well, I'll change my mind about you too."
Huh.
There were some words.
Then I punched her in the throat and buried her body in the back of the building.
Dude, this is recorded. Like, it's on the
Well,
internet. They're coming to get you now.
It's a passion. It was a passion. It wasn't premeditated. It's a passionate.
Well, that'll still get you 5 to 10.
True, but
What is
wasn't
happening
me.
right now?
Don't
What are we
even know.
talking about?
I've lost control.
Oh,
Complete
man,
control.
we're off the rails so early.
It's a tailspin.
Speaking of off the rails,
Uh-huh.
if you don't follow the rails that I'm on, you might start talking about Patreon.
Those are very different, completely different rails. And Patreon is a website, which we were not talking about at all. And Patreon is a virtual tipping and rewards website, and we're on that website. And if you feel like we're doing a fantastic job, you can head over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer. You can toss a few bucks our way. We've got some awesome rewards for you. We've got a $1 tier that gets you a shout out on the show. We've got a $5 tier that gets you a shout out on the show and a promotion of something on the show, whatever it is, website, music, blog, whatever you got, maybe just yourself. And we have a $10 tier that includes all the other stuff, plus a 1-hour gaming session guaranteed each and every week with the host or hosts of your choice. We have a few people that take advantage of those, and we will talk to you about those people later. But hit us up on patreon.com and take those dollars that were in your wallet today, and you were maybe walking around in the hot heat, and your butt got all sweaty and soaked through your wallet into those dollars, and now you don't want to spend them. You don't want to hand them to the person at McDonald's to buy your large Diet Coke for $1 because that's gross. That's a sweaty butt dollar. And the thing is, we'll take that dollar and we'll turn it into podcast hosting. We don't even care. So head over to patreon.com/South Dakota Gamer, toss us that buck, and we will be forever grateful. And we will also wash our hands.
That's a new way. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Not sure how I feel about it. Butt dollars.
I said it.
Okay. Well, let's get into the new releases for this week. We have a few of them. First off, we have Deadlight Director's Cut for the Xbox One, PS4, and PC, coming out on June 21st. This is a remastered, upgradable version of Deadlight, which is a side-scrolling zombie survival shoot-'em-up game that came out on the previous generation. It was on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and they did a director's cut. Now you can go buy that again. I think they're after you. They're coming, and you're going to jail.
That's just another great thing about Indiana.
That's Illinois, I think, pretty sure. Which we can.
He's in Illinois. That's
I
right.
think we can all agree that Illinois sucks.
It's the worst.
I mean,
constant murders happening.
yeah, 13
outside.
people died on Father's Day in Illinois, in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
All right, Grand Kingdom is the next game that is coming out on the 21st for the PlayStation.
I'm going to mute right now. You go for it, Chad.
For the PlayStation 4 and the Vita. Grand Kingdom is a 2015, which came out in 2015 probably in Japan, A tactical role-playing game developed by Monochrome Corporation, and you engage in turn-based battles where you command groups of mercenaries, who are able to attack using sword and magic attacks depending on which class you pick. So that is Grand Kingdom. Next, we have Pac-Man 256. That was for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, also June 21st. This has been a mobile game up to this point. This was a mobile game which I actually downloaded, and it's a never-ending runner for Pac-Man. But you're not Pac-Man running. You're on the map. You're on the dots with the grids. But you have to continue and keep above 256 refers to level 256 in Pac-Man. When you got to that level, the game broke because it couldn't go any further because of the coding that was done, and that was the end of the game. You couldn't go any further, and it's the coding messed up, and there was no map left. This has that level basically constantly chasing you, and so you have to continually move your way from bottom to top, eating the little bullets. It's an interesting idea. I liked it. It was fun. Played it for a hot minute on my phone. Next, finally, we have Mighty Number 9 for pretty much any system that you can think of. Xbox One.
Real game?
Apparently, PlayStation 4. Debatable how good it is. Wii U, 360, PS3, 3DS, and someday possibly maybe the Vita. That comes out June 21st as well. Mighty Number 9. A lot of the reviews started going up, and people don't like it.
Yeah, I've seen some of the reviews so far, and they're not super enthusiastic. And part of that may be due to all the delays and whatnot. People are just tired of it, tired of hearing about it. It was cool when somebody first started talking about it, but now it's like whatever. Again, I have so much happening right outside this very window.
Sounds like a hurricane.
Sorry. It's a helicopter, and they love to just buzz the building.
Yeah, here in Chicago, right? Helicopters.
Yep. Anyway, I'm interested to see gameplay, maybe get my hands on this at some point and try it out.
I am kind of glad I did not back this. I almost did on Kickstarter. But next, we have Umbrella Corps coming to the PS4 and the PC on June 21st. Umbrella Corps, known as Biohazard Umbrella Corps, is in Japan. Is a multiplayer tactical shooter developed by Capcom and Microsoft, which is weird that it's coming to the PlayStation 4. It's a spin-off of Resident Evil series and is set to be released, obviously we heard, June 21st. It's basically a shooter for Resident Evil, multiplayer shooter called Umbrella Corps. Interesting concept.
It wasn't good when it came out, from what I heard,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure who is asking for this. This may be one of part of their huge marketing push though for
Just
whatever
getting the name out there more.
about. Yeah.
All right, next we have Heart and Slash coming to the Xbox One and PS4 on June 24th. It is already available on Steam. Heart and Slash says a fight. Here's what the description on Steam says. It says, "Fight as Heart, an innocent robot fighting to escape the grip of mindless machines in a future where humans are no more. A fast-paced 3D brawler with roguelike elements set in a colorful yet desolate world." It's got a 92% rating on Steam.
All right.
So that's positive. Next, we have Terraria for the Wii U and 3DS, June 24th as well. This game has been out on the Xbox and PlayStation. It's finally now coming to Nintendo, for those of you that care. And then finally, we have Tokyo Mirage Sessions, #FE. This is a very Japanese game. This is coming to the Wii U, June 24th. I do believe it is already out on some of the other platforms. It's a crossover between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem stuff. So very Japanese, very role-playing-ish, turn-based. You like that stuff, go check it out. So that is all the new releases for this week. Josh, who are our new releases brought to us by this
Our new
week?
releases have been brought to us by East Coast Candle Company. Listen, if you like stuff that smells real good And if you have a destructive streak in you that likes to burn things, let's be honest, we all love fire. You put those two together, and you got yourself East Coast Candle Company, because they're the premier provider of hand-poured soy candles in the world, according to Chad. I was just saying the U.S., but
not anymore
now. So you should head over to eastcoastcandleco.com. Check them out. They got all kinds of scents. The scent of the week, by the way, clothesline.
Sounds real refreshing.
Yeah. Sounds
You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to go there right now and buy one.
You should totally do that.
Cool. Keep us aware of your progress.
I will. Right
All
now,
right.
I'm on their website.
Well, it may be a little less, close together.
Just the main, like the bullet points.
Yeah, like shipping, purchased, things of that nature.
Like, you don't want to know about browsing?
No, not
You
necessarily.
don't know what I'm thinking of getting?
Well, clothesline?
I'm thinking about maybe going for, I think they have, a campfire route. I want everything to smell like it's been burnt.
Yeah.
Bonfire. That's what they've got.
Sounds all right.
They've got bonfire.
Sounds all right.
Listen to this. If you're anything like us, fall is the time for getting your friends around a bonfire. We love community, fall, and bonfires. This candle really captures the smell and feel of sitting around a bonfire with the smells of amber, clove. I'm done. Don't know how to pronounce that word. Not going to do it. Don't use words you can't pronounce, guys. Come on.
And it's summertime.
Sandalwood. I can pronounce sandalwood. How would you pronounce this word? Patchouli? Patchouli?
Yeah, that you nailed it.
What is it?
I have no idea.
So now the news that you can use,
if you so choose.
You're welcome, Dave. So I have very few items on the list this week. Obviously, last week was our our E3 reaction show.
E3. That's right, bringing it back. Said it was done? Not done.
Okay, your
Psych.
prerogative. Psych. This is 1997.
Yeah,
so
nobody uses that word anymore, Chad. Get out of South Dakota.
Maybe not in South Dakota. They don't. We're a little behind. So there isn't a ton of news from this week because we had so much. Oh,
what happened?
The sirens. People
I don't get it.
It's a murdering happening outside your door.
I don't know.
It's not good. So I don't have a lot on this week's news list, but there are a few interesting things. Josh, I'm gonna let you take. Well, I'll start this first one, and then I'm gonna let you give us your experience, kind of, hand in hand with this one. Nintendo came out and said this past week, shortly after E3. They kind of squelched the rumor we talked about a couple weeks ago that the NX was being delayed to implement some VR stuff, and they came out and said, no, we've seen VR and we've been a part of VR since the Virtual Boy, so it's in our history, but they don't think it's mainstream enough to be worth putting a lot of time into, so they are going to not necessarily do that, but once VR is mainstream, they say they will be there along with everyone else. But for the time being, they're just going to kind of stick with what things they believe will work and do work. And then speaking of VR...
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm going to say that Nintendo not jumping into VR right away and Zelda Breath of the Wild are the two best ideas they've had in a very, very long time. And I completely agree with them not jumping into it. So, VR, right? We all know it. We all love it. We want to love it anyway. And so I got an email not long ago, a little over a week and a half ago, telling me that Best Buy was going to, in certain stores, have VR demos, PlayStation VR demos available. And they had certain times that you could go and try it out. So in the email, it took you to this landing page for Best Buy. You could select a store in the state you were in, like you'd put in your state, and then it would give you the stores in a drop-down list. So you would select that store, and it would tell you what the times were for that store to try out VR. Well, Cecilia and I were visiting a couple of her friends out in Schaumburg. So there was a store in Schaumburg that said they were going to have it, and so I was like, sweet. The demo starts. It's between the hours of I think 3 and 5 or 2 and 5, something like that. It was like a few hours block of time. I was like, perfect. So Cecilia and I went over there to try it. Walked in the store, and I was like, well, it's probably in the gaming section. So we went over to the gaming section, and it was nowhere to be found. And I was like, well, maybe they have a special area set up for it. It's a big enough thing. Looked all over the store, couldn't find it. So finally we asked an associate, and he goes, literally, I was like, hey, no, that wasn't even a thing. Like, we were looking for an associate, and we were like, happened to be by the smartwatches, like when we were looking for an associate, and couldn't find one immediately. So then I was like, I said something about one of the smartwatches to Cecilia. As I was doing that, an associate walked up and was like, hey, can I help you find something? And so I turned around and said to him, I wasn't like trying to be mean or anything, but I said, well, yeah, I was actually here for the PlayStation VR demo, and you guys don't seem to have it. And his exact words were, oh, yeah.
Really?
And that's like all he said. And I was like, so do you guys not have it? And he goes, no. I said, will you be getting it? And he goes, I have no idea.
Huh.
I said, does anybody know? Like somebody that maybe works, because they have like sections of the floor they stick to usually. I was like, somebody in the gaming section know? He goes, no. Like, we literally haven't gotten any news on when we're getting it. Like, that's something everybody in the store would know. And I was like, okay then, thank you. I was like, you guys know you're on the website, right? To have it? He goes, yeah. Okay, cool. So I walked up. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna get to try it, Well, like, we got back to Cecilia's friend's house, and I was like browsing, like I was trying to see if there was maybe another store in the area that might have it or something. And according to Best Buy, there wasn't, but I was on Sony's website then. Like, the other nearest store would have been like over 30 minutes away, and that would have been like an hour round trip of driving, plus whatever time I was doing it, so I didn't think I was going to do it. On Sony's site, on PlayStation's website, they had a list of Best Buys that should have it, and there was one that said it was 15 minutes away. And so I was like, well, I'll call them and see if they've got it. And the girl that answered the phone sounded like she had no idea what I was talking about, like, in the first place. Like, she didn't know that they were supposed to get it, didn't know it was a thing. Like, she was surprised I even asked.
Huh.
And she was like, yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. She was like, I didn't even know PlayStation was doing VR.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, all right then. So I hung up. There was another store that was on the way home for me, and so I called them, and same thing. Like, they had no clue what I was talking about. They weren't that clueless in that they knew the PlayStation was doing VR, but they didn't know they were supposed to be getting a demo for it. They didn't know anything about any of it.
Huh.
And then according to Sony's website, there were a few GameStops that were doing it, but only in like New York, and I think one other state, California maybe. So I couldn't find a demo station anywhere. I know Dave looked too, like around him.
Yeah, I saw you texting about it, and I thought, well, I might as well. I live in Nashville, so I'll check on the websites and see if there's any stores close by. So I got on Sony's website also, and they, pull up the little map. It gives you your little zip code, and you put it in, and it shows you, where there's the one closest to you. And there was one like 20 minutes up the street in Franklin, and so I called them. And first of all, another story, bad customer service. Finally got a hold of somebody, and it was a little bit different. It was the same outcome, but I asked her about it, and she sounded like she's been getting this question a lot already, because she almost sounded like, yeah, we can't get a straight answer, and I don't know if that means can't get a straight answer from corporate, or because I'm assuming she's not dealing with Sony, so it must be, nobody knows what's going on there. So it sounds like there's a lot of confusion, and Sony's saying these are the stores that have it, because they're supposed to already have it, and then there are going to be more stores adding to this list, and these stores have no idea what's happening.
Yeah. The store that I originally was supposed to go to in Schaumburg, after I left, I looked at that drop-down list again, and they had removed that store from the drop-down list. So it seems like Best Buy at least is aware that some of their stores were not getting it, but even the other ones that PlayStation was saying was having it, had it rather, and that Best Buy themselves said had it, they didn't have it either.
Huh.
So like I don't know what's happening. And I meant to call today and I didn't call today. Schaumburg is still the closest store for me, but the other one was 15 minutes further from that, so like a 45-minute drive is a lot, but I'd be willing to do that to try out PlayStation VR. So
Yeah.
I am going to call back and see, if they've got any updates or news on it. It was a big frustrating thing, and it was on Best Buy's website and PlayStation's website, which were both incorrect. So
Yeah, so when you guys were doing all the texting, I was like, oh, I'm going to check it out too. Right? So I'm in South Dakota.
uh-huh.
So I put it in and I said, oh, let's do it within any store within 100 miles. Yeah, let's just see. Comes up, we're sorry, there are no stores within your search range that have this.
Well,
So,
at least they were truthful about that.
Yeah, so I gave up. That was the end of that for me.
Yeah, Sony's website still says that store should have it right now. I also forgot to call them. I didn't check the actual Best Buy's site. Like, would you just go to Best Buy and like you?
I was still navigating there from the email I had gotten, which was
Right.
taking me to a landing page, which they had removed the Schaumburg store from, and I think one other store. There was 5 or 6 on the list, and I think there was 3 by the time I got to it. So maybe they removed 3 stores. But that landing page still existed, and there were still stores on the drop down, but none of those stores had it in their store. So
It's real dumb.
yeah, it is real
It
dumb.
is.
I was so excited. I was finally going to get to try gaming VR, because I tried out the Gear VR at Draft Town, which was cool.
Right.
I was finally going to get to try gaming VR on Saturday, and nowhere to be found. So I don't know if it's a Best Buy failure or a Sony failure or miscommunication
Combination.
or what. But like, it seems, I don't know. It seems like it's a Sony failure if Sony and Best Buy both have it on their websites.
And not getting it to the store.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, you would assume at some point here this summer they'll get out because they want to sell them, and it sounds like the best way to sell them is to have people experience it. So
That's got it. Like, they have to. I feel like they have to, especially hearing some of the guys talk about some of the stuff they saw at E3 this year. The Batman VR game, Greg Miller could not stop talking about that game, and like he was saying, like, if there was any game that he would tell people to play to tell them, like, this is why VR needs to be a thing, it would be that game. Like he said, like, he's been waiting for the game to come out to tell people, like, this is why VR is going to and needs to be a thing. He was trying to get the other guys' appointments to go see it because he felt that strongly about it. So to hear them talk about some of the stuff that they've seen, in VR at E3,
it's interesting.
and then not be able to try some of that stuff out. The Batman VR game is not going to be available in the demo, but like, to not be able to try VR and hear them talk about it, and like, trying it is the thing I think that's going to sell so many people on it. Like, like, they're going to be like, oh, this is why it's worth buying this, or this is
what I anticipate, and maybe I'm just thinking about it because I'm known to do this, but buying it, trying it, and returning it within a warranty.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll happen.
I mean, everybody. I'm sure maybe not everybody, but most people are dying to try this out, and demos are obviously a great way to do it. I mean, there's probably going to be some people afraid to demo it because you got
other people's faces,
heads, and stuff in there.
Yeah.
But man, it's just. I mean, like, I was just listening to Tim talk about playing Resident Evil 7 in it, and feeling literally sick, not because of like motion stuff, but like actually, he thought it was actually because of how scared it was making him. Yeah. He said, it's one thing to sit down in front of your TV, play with a controller. It's scary. It is. I played through it. Josh played through it. It is scary. I mean, it's good. Chad actually heard me. He was in a party while I was playing through it.
It was enough for me.
And I mean, when you put the headset on and you're literally turning and looking, I mean, I'm very interested in trying trying those games.
I think what's going to happen too is there are going to be shortages. They've already come out and said they're probably going to have shortages for this when they go to sell it. So if you can't try it, and then the people that do want to buy it aren't going to be able to find it, it's it's a lot of frustration you're setting up and building up there. So
yeah, I feel like that's how you kill a product real quick.
They've got you would think they've got to be preparing because they're going to be the fastest selling VR, no doubt.
It's most cost effective, yeah.
And just plug it into my console.
But the fact that they've already said we're going to probably have shortages, they're preparing the public to be expecting not to find it for a while. But all right, well, that's interesting. Hopefully we can get our hands on it. I would like all of us to have been able to try it at some point so we can talk about it. But moving along, we have. I believe I've talked about this before. I don't know if you guys have played either of these games, but Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 or 2. Did you guys play those?
No.
I played 2.
Okay. Very Diablo-esque, but it all happens within the Marvel universe, top down. So much fun. Great games. There's a possibility that they're being remastered. There was a report on Gamasutra via a Taiwanese game software rating information board that both these games are getting a 2-in-1 remastered pack for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, as well as Transformers: Fall of Cybertron, which both of these games, or 3 of these games, are Activision titles. So the developers of Marvel Ultimate Alliance no longer exist, but Activision holds the rights over those. Super fun games. I put a lot of hours into both of those, and especially with all the Marvel hype and the Civil War hype, which that's what 2 story mode was based on. I think these games would sell like crazy, and I would buy them in a heartbeat if they come out. So,
yeah, sounds cool.
Whoa.
I don't know.
A jet?
It's apparently make all the noise in the world tonight, and I'm sorry about all of it.
Moving along, No Man's Sky, the game that is coming out real soon, can now legally use the word sky.
How did I miss
title?
Yeah, I totally missed this too. I didn't know anything about this until you said something the other day.
It was Sean Murray put out a tweet, I don't know, whatever day that I started this outline, saying that the secret battle that they've been fighting legally for the past 3 years, I believe, is now finally resolved. That's it. They can finally use the word sky in their title. So they had a legal battle over, and I forgot to look exactly what company. I did look, but I forget which one it was. There's a company that their name Sky something or other, and they were suing these guys for using the word sky and not letting them do that. And apparently it's the same company that made Microsoft change their OneDrive from SkyDrive. It was supposed to be SkyDrive, and they ended up having to change it to OneDrive because of this same exact company.
And yet nobody knows who this company is.
Well,
They've got a real stick up their butt about the word sky.
Apparently. And how do you own the word sky? That's
yeah. I'm like, how does that take 3 years to iron out?
It's insane.
Ugh.
But so obviously it's not something that was publicly known per se, but they were fighting with that internally.
Yeah. How does Microsoft lose?
Yeah.
Right. That's it.
They're probably the ones we have to blame for the delay.
I doubt that's why. You think?
No, I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm just going to blame everything on that stupid company now.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody needs to murder those people, not these guys.
Not Sean Murray. Leave him alone.
Yeah, it's not his fault. He was fighting over the word sky. People. Yes, exactly. All right, and then finally in the news you can use this week, this has crept up a lot Friday, Saturday, and then even more today. But a couple reports from Eurogamer and Digital Foundry citing other multiple sources that the PlayStation 4 Neo will be out and available in 2016. Obviously, it wasn't at E3. They even came out and said they aren't. Before E3 happened, they said they weren't going to be at E3 and announce it and talk about it. Microsoft announced and talked about their Scorpio. Assumedly, I guess I assumed, since Microsoft isn't coming out until next year, that's probably the same for PlayStation. Well, now there's leaks. These are all leaks and rumors. Nothing's confirmed that the PlayStation 4 Neo will be released this fall.
It's so bizarre. Like, maybe it was going to be released this fall, and that's just not. I mean, maybe they're getting the rumor late.
Sure.
It seems so weird to make an actual statement saying we're not going to say anything. Like, why even make that statement? Why not just not talk about it?
Well, I think they needed to get out in front of, not get out in front of at this point, but I think they needed to address the rumors that it existed. But so I think they were doing that, saying, yes, it's a thing. No, it will not be at E3. Like, don't look for it at E3. We're not going to talk about it at E3. But yes, it's a thing. So at least that way, their consumer base knows, all right, they're working on this thing. We're not going to know about it for a while. Like, I think that was probably the best possible thing that they could have done in this situation. And I think it would be a super big mistake for them to put this out in 2016, now knowing the specs of Microsoft's Project Scorpio and how awesome that thing is. Like, that thing is an incredible machine. It's a beast. And if Sony puts out their Neo, like, you know, up against the Scorpio, that's a huge mistake, I think. I think they need to go back to the drawing board, which is probably what they're doing, and say, okay, how can we beef up this?
Do we think that Scorpio and Neo were really even planned to be comparable at the onset? Like,
To each other, you mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, do you think the fact that we're only assuming that Sony took a step back, which is very possible because of the leak specs of Scorpio? Did we? I mean, I'm wondering if maybe the Neo was supposed to be Sony's version of what the Scorpio is, or if Microsoft had a weird, because Microsoft's plan is, you know, people are kind of questioning that as well as far as the beyond generations and all that stuff. I'm not sure that they were even planning on it being what Microsoft is saying the Scorpio will be. I don't know if the Neo was necessarily supposed to be that.
Yeah,
and now maybe they're having to kind of, or they're wanting to make it that, or make it closer to that, or whatever. I'm not. It's all very confusing.
Yeah.
Maybe not. To come up this year. It does seem like it would be a very weird thing to announce nothing and then put it out.
There's other places they can announce it. I mean, TGS is coming, Gamescom is coming, Paris Games Week is coming. All big places that Sony could announce it.
I still think the whole thing is a mistake. I think it's a mistake for Microsoft and it's a mistake for PlayStation. Although I don't think it's as big a mistake for Microsoft because they seem to not care if you play games on Windows or Xbox at this point. To them, it seems to be all the same, and it's going further and further in that direction for them. But so, like, I think it's a mistake anyway. But I think at this point, knowing how powerful Microsoft's machine is, I think it would be crazy for PlayStation to put out the machine that they were working on.
If it doesn't
go to those,
yeah. I know it'll be interesting. These are all just rumors, but from multiple sources, and Digital Foundry usually is right on when they find things out. So, if either way, I would assume we'd still at least hear an announcement on it this year. And Paris Games Week was a big week for them last year. They skipped Gamescom, but I could see that being something where something big like that would be announced at. And Microsoft would have nothing to compare announcement-wise to that at that point.
Yeah.
So even if it doesn't come out this year and that's not true, I think we'd probably hear about it at least. Tell us what it is,
Yeah, I still think it's. I think the reason that you say you're not going to have it is because they know that Xbox is going to be announced and they're not ready to show theirs yet, which to me seems like they're not ready to put it out in 2016 either. I could be wrong, but
it makes sense because how do you change if they truly needed to rearrange some things? You can't do it that quickly, I don't think.
Right.
So. All right, well, that's all the news that I have for you this week, and the news this week was brought to you, as always, by Sarah Complin Daycare Center. Sarah Complin, Kompelien Daycare in Flandreau, South Dakota, for all your child watching needs. Hit her up on Facebook to find out how many openings they have available for you today.
You know what? I'm going to do that right now. I'm just kidding.
I'm on their website right now.
Dave just participates in every...
I just send kids to her.
In every sponsor this week.
Pick up these kids. I just get arrested.
Whoa. All right, well, that brings us quickly to what we've been playing this week. So, Josh, what you been playing?
I've been playing some things. So, I didn't talk about it a whole lot since the last regular show, because we had our E3 reaction show last week.
Right.
I played a little bit of Doom. I like it. I like it a whole lot. I redboxed it, played it for a couple of nights. I will buy it at some point. It didn't especially since I was redboxing it. It's like $6 a day or something. So I wasn't gonna keep it until I finished it, and I knew that going into it.
Sure.
But I needed to play it and experience it, and see what you guys were talking about. And it's a really good game. I really enjoy it. It's not a game that I feel like I can play for long periods of time. But I get it. I totally get it. The weapon upgrade system is really fun. The player upgrade system is really fun. It's super fast. The combat's really fluid. Going between shooting people and then the glory kills and all that stuff. It's really cool. Even some of the platforming elements to it is pretty smooth and really good, and the mantling and all that stuff is cool. So I like the game a lot. And I'll come back to it. But so I played Doom a couple weeks ago before our last show, but I didn't really talk about it. This week, I've been playing. So I have some stuff to say about a couple of the games I've been playing.
All right, everybody, buckle in. Here it comes.
Listen,
buckle up.
Here's the thing about some of the stuff I've been playing this week. Rocket League, okay. This should be shorter, but I feel very strongly about this. Rocket League just put out their new update. Season 3 has started as of the 20th, I believe.
Yep.
Today. So I downloaded that and I played a little bit of it this afternoon in between doing laundry and stuff. And I didn't realize this when they did season 2, but I'm realizing it now, and it's driving me freaking crazy. So when they started season 2, they totally changed the ranking system, and so I was like, fine.
Yeah, I remember that.
I will start all over again. The ranking is completely different, so I don't mind starting over, working my way into the new ranking system since it's a new thing, whatever. Season 3 starts, and you are starting all over again.
So every season resets your rank.
And here's what I hate about that.
Interesting.
You have to play 10 matches in every mode in order to be ranked, and then it'll rank you according to your skill, how many of those games you've won, and then you'll move up and down the ranks accordingly, just like before. I still don't understand how the ranking works once you're ranked. And they've been pretty vague about that, but here's what I hate about this. You're starting all over with everybody in the player base playing with all the idiots that were in the super low ranked categories before they reset all the things, and so you're playing with awful players, and nothing against them if they're more casual players, but there was a reason that I played as much as I did to rank up out of those kind of player matches, and I was playing with people that were in my skill level, so that those games were actually interesting, and those people know how to play, and they understood the strategy of the game, and they understood that somebody needs to watch goal, and somebody needs to cross the ball, and somebody needs to shoot it, and these people don't understand anything about
I have
the
a
game.
Solution.
What?
You know the solution.
Play online with my friends, but
man.
My schedule doesn't always match up with everybody's, and so it's frustrating to come into this game and be playing with all these idiots all over again, and now I have to rank out of these matches. I have to play 10 matches.
I bet if you said, hey guys, I need help, here's when I can play, I bet you would find a couple that would be able to help you. Between me and Dave and Paco and Jordan.
I probably would, but how many people are going to stop what they're doing and play for 10 or 15 minutes?
I bet you'd be surprised. If I was on and you asked, I'd be like, yeah, I'd help.
I'll try it.
It would be better than having the frustrating rando guys play with.
That's one thing that I was getting super freaking frustrated today, because I had it just open in all 4 modes, standard, solo, standard, doubles, and solo duel. I just had all 4 because I'm unranked in all of them now again. And solo duel is way less frustrating to me because if I lose a match, that's 100% on me.
Sure.
That's fine. but doubles on up, like when you have to rely on other players, and like you could be playing against expert players on the other side, and be teamed up with some
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
whatever on your side, like, or completely opposite, like. But I hate that. Like, I don't stop resetting the rankings now that you've got this new ranking system. So that was gripe number one. Gripe number two is that they still have not finished fix the chat feature, and I don't understand. Like,
have you gotten any response from them at all on that?
Zero response. And I've sent them messages on their Facebook page, and I've tweeted at them. I just retweeted my own tweet because I'm tired of typing it at this point. Like, I don't understand. It came out in the last update, the Hoops update. It's 2 updates ago now that this has been broken.
Like March.
And, like, it was part of their, like, instant save replay with a keyframe in the certain spot and whatever, and it's on the same button, and the functions are reversed, and so now it takes forever to type in a chat.
And that's a PlayStation-specific issue.
PlayStation, yes. When it should take, like, a second. Like, it should take a button click to pull up the chat box, type in a chat, and close it. But now you have to hold in the button, wait for the chat box to pop up, and you don't have time for all that in a game. Super frustrating. I've reached out several times to try and get them to fix it. I don't understand. I was hoping it would be fixed in this update, and it's still not.
How do you feel? I'm surprised this wasn't on your list. I expected you to say this. The Tokyo Neo stuff that came out today is only for those that buy the retail copy of the disc that comes out tomorrow.
I was going to mention it. So the collector's edition, I think is what they're calling it, are the people that get those cars for free. I'm already,
for a month.
It already pisses me off that the people that bought the game after I did, like, if you bought it at all on Xbox,
you get all the stuff,
all of the DLC for free, like, far.
Besides the cars.
But, like,
the Batmobile and the
well, yeah, but that came out after it came to
okay,
Xbox.
You're right.
So, like, all the DLC up to that point, like, Xbox users got for free if they bought the game, and, like, I still don't have that, and I'm playing on PlayStation.
Right.
The only DLC I have is the Batmobile because I bought it.
Right.
And now, like, see that's the kind of stuff I was talking about them before and how they're doing DLC, and I think they're doing it right. This is the kind of stuff that I don't think you're doing this right. Like, I
was disappointed myself.
To tell, like I bought your game a long time ago, like last year.
They're trying to incentivize the non-buyers to buy the retail copy now by giving them something in it, and then because there's a couple old cars, a couple new cars, a new arena, and probably some items that are free on that disc.
Yep.
And then those of us that have the digital copies, it won't even be available. It'll be free as well, but it won't be available until July 18th.
Well, from what I understand, the cars are not free.
Oh, I think some of them are. Like the old school ones, because they got the 2 new ones, but then there's some old school ones too.
Well,
from Supersonic Battle Racer Supercars.
That's disappointing. So I don't like that at all. They added one of the crazy maps to the competitive playlist. I don't like that either. Like, don't do that. Those maps belong in the just for fun section. Like, I don't understand why you'd add that to the competitive playlist either. It's 100% different. Like, to me, Wasteland, I think it's called Wasteland, is also too much of a departure. Like, nobody likes playing on that map in competitive play. So to add the one with, like, the ramps on the sides and, like, all the weirdness, like, I think that's a mistake too. So I'm quickly becoming disenchanted with this game. And
it's your favorite game.
I love it so much, and it's making me so angry lately. So that's the gripe I have about Rocket League. I have also obsessively been playing the Resident Evil 7 demo. I've played through it at least 20 times. At least.
Good Lord, why?
And I can't stop. I'm going
it's
to play
not even
more.
Scary anymore, is it? Like, no, you know where everything is.
I know all the stuff. I know when all the sounds happen.
So why are you playing this so much if you know where everything is?
The first time I played through it was right after we recorded our E3 reaction show.
Right.
It downloaded. I played through it. And, like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was like, man, that was really good.
You're sick.
And, like, the next day, then I found out that the demo is not part of the full game, they said.
Right.
And I had already been thinking, like, it's to the point, guys, where I dream about it now when I sleep.
You're sick.
I'm dreaming, and it's not that I'm dreaming like it's scary, and I'm like, oh my
God.
goodness, this is scary. I'm dreaming about trying to figure it out. That's how obsessed I am.
So is
Like,
this? You think
I'm
this
trying
is?
to figure it out in my dreams.
So let me little tiny rabbit trail. When you're dreaming, are you dreaming about playing the game, or are you actually in the game? Like, are you the person?
It's not clear. It's not clear if I'm playing or in it, but it's not me. It's not me dreaming that I'm in it, and I'm like, oh, I'm freaked out. I'm scared. I'm dreaming.
Maybe
I'm
you're
trying
actually-
to figure out what's happening.
Maybe you're actually dreaming about you playing it in VR. So
Mm.
you are in it. Maybe that's why you don't know the difference, because you're in it, but you're
Maybe.
not in it.
So are you saying that there's
In
something?
your dream, do you accidentally punch a coffee table ever?
I do not.
Okay, well, maybe it's not VR.
So, the first time I played through it, I think the ending that probably most people get when they play through it. So, like, spoilers, I guess, if somebody hasn't played the demo yet, or if you don't have a PlayStation Plus account. It's a demo, though, so give me a break. But the first time I played through it, I think I got the ending that most people get. Some people, from what
Wait
I've
a
been
second.
reading,
Before you say this, have you gotten more in these 20+ tries? Have you gotten more than the same ending?
I've
Ever?
gotten 4 endings.
Oh, okay.
So 4. So, and that's all that we know that there is. Like, guys, I've done reading every day on this. So the first time I played through it, you start off in that, like, the TV room, living room, whatever you want to call it. The TV's like doing staticky stuff. You read a note on the table. You walk out of the room. It's real creepy and scary. You find some bolt cutters, open a cabinet, find a VHS tape, play the VHS tape. You control the camera guy. You come back to the real world. The note's different. You go into a little secret compartment that you found in the VHS tape. You find a key for the back door, and you go to the back door and try to open it and leave. And the guy punches you, and that's the end of the demo. So that's the ending that most people get first. Some people have gotten a different ending first, which is crazy. But so, like, after you get that ending, like, it just goes right back to the beginning of the demo, and you can play through it again.
Are they trying to capture the PT feel to this a little bit?
It seems very PT-like.
Okay.
And so, like, it takes you right back to the beginning of the demo. So, like, now you know some stuff from having played through it once. So now you know where the lever for the secret door is, so you can open that right away. So if you do that first, then you can get a different ending. There's a fuse in there that you can put in a fuse box that lets you open upstairs to an attic, to walk up to an attic, and there's a phone ringing, and you answer the phone. And depending on other stuff you do before that, it's not heavy breathing. It's a lady that, like, she has 3 different messages, like 3 different things that she'll say on the phone, depending on other stuff you do before you answer the phone. So the reason that I've been playing it so much, though, there are 2 items in the demo that you can get that there is no apparent use for, but the fact that there are 4 endings so far, and the fact that there are 2 items that there's no apparent use for, indicates that it is also PT-like, in that there is a ending to this demo that is the quote-unquote true ending. And it's been confirmed and then possibly redacted also by somebody at Capcom, because somebody tweeted out that they had talked to somebody at Capcom, and Capcom said, so the 2 items are an axe that you can find, and there is a dummy finger, what they call a dummy finger. It's like a mannequin finger in a drawer. And there's, like, with the axe, you can smash boxes. Certain mannequins, you can smash them apart, but that's all you can do with that. The dummy finger has no apparent use whatsoever. You can just look at it. And part of it looks like a key, but there's nothing apparent that you can do with it. So somebody tweeted out that they talked to somebody at Capcom, and the person at Capcom said, not much use for the axe. The dummy finger, however, does have a use. And then that same person tweeted out, blah, 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 that information may have been incorrect. So I take that as you will. It seems like somebody at Capcom opened their mouth when they weren't supposed to and tried to fix their mistake real quick. Or maybe somebody at Capcom was just running their mouth and they didn't know what they were talking about. Either way, people are like, why would they put items in the game that
And
there's no use for?
no one's figured it out yet.
Okay, so where we are to date, we know that there are four endings at least to the game. One is where you go to the back door, get punched. The other three are up in the phone room, and depending on what you do, there are 3 different things that the lady on the phone says to you. And then as you try to walk out of that room, that same guy will, like, you turn around and he'll punch you and knock you out and send you to the beginning of the demo again. So those are the 4 endings we know of as of right now. I've also watched some videos on this. I'm very obsessed. And in one video, this guy did, like, because you can do things in different combinations. You can play the VHS tape, and then you can actually come out of the VHS tape and do some more stuff in the house, and then you can play the VHS tape again and, like, do some more stuff there. Like, you're pretty limited on what you can do in either one, but you can go in and out of the VHS tape. And there's a different order that you can do some of the other stuff in. Like, you can grab the fuse and the backdoor key and then, like, put the fuse in and then go to the back door, like, vice versa or whatever. But one guy was playing, and whatever combination of stuff he did, there's a door. There are 2 doors that are boarded up in the house. There's one underneath the stairs that's all boarded up, and there's one up in the attic. If you go past the door for the phone room, there's a little hallway, and there's a door at the end of that hallway. It's all boarded up. Well, the combination of things he did, the door behind those boards was open in the attic. The boards were still there, so he could not get into that room, but there was a room in there that was textured and finished.
Did he have the axe?
He couldn't use the axe for it?
You can't break the boards with the axe. The axe just
Not
makes
even
marks.
if the door's open?
Not even if the door's open. He tried it. And the axe just makes marks on the boards. But the door was open, and he could see into the room. You couldn't see anything from the doorway that was in the room, but the door was open. You could see into a finished, textured room. So it doesn't seem like it was a glitch because the room is finished and textured. And so whatever he did, that door was open behind those boards. So he still couldn't get into the room, but the door was open. And then he, like, went and did something else and came back, and that door was closed. So I have to read and see what he did that made that door open. But, like, there's all kinds of weird stuff that people have found. Like, if you hold, there's a button you can do. The left trigger holds the axe up in front of you like you're guarding or whatever. And if you hold it up in the phone room and you're standing, like, all the way at the back of the room, if you hold it up, the shadow that it casts on the opposite wall reveals, like, shapes on that wall that you can't see if the shadow is not there. And so people are like, maybe there's something in the shadows. There's a lamp downstairs that flickers at a certain point. It doesn't flicker right away. It flickers after you do some stuff. And so then they're like, maybe that's Morse code. The song in the trailer, people are backmasking to see if there's any messages in the song for the trailer. At the very beginning of the demo, before you even move or press any buttons, there's a faint voice that people are trying to figure out what it's saying. In the VHS tape, if you go upstairs, there are headphones lying on a table that aren't there in the other version of the house, like the actual version of the house. And so people are like, maybe if you change audio settings, you could hear something or there'll be a clue. Like, I've tried so many freaking things and I still can't figure this out. Nobody's got it figured out yet. Like, as of, like, an hour before we started the podcast, because I checked again. But, like, people are looking at what the dummy finger is made out of because it tells you it's made out of celluloid, which is a flammable material. So people are like, maybe you got to melt it down to use it in the game. But how do you melt it down? Because the oven doesn't work. Nothing in the, like, you can't put it in the fuse box. You can't plug it into an outlet. Like, people are following the wiring of the house.
Can you melt it down in that pot of food?
You can't put it in the pot.
Like, what's the point of being able to open that pot?
I don't know. Like, some of it I think is just to add to the creep factor, because you can open the fridge and there's, like, nasty stuff in the fridge. You can open the microwave.
I noticed you can turn the water off in the faucet.
You can turn the water off. Like, there's just stuff in the game that people can't figure out what it's for. And, like, some people have said it's not for anything. Like, stop wasting your time. Capcom is literally giving you the finger, and, like, they just want you to play this so much they're trying to capitalize on PT whatever. I it's real weird, and I can't stop playing it. I've played it so much for hours and hours and hours, doing things in different combinations, like trying to glitch through doors. Like there was a guy that glitched boxes, quote unquote glitch boxes through a door, like push boxes through a door, and he was like, "See, I know there's a room behind there because I could only push so many boxes through the door before like one of the boxes wouldn't fit."
Weird.
Like, there's so much to the game. So Capcom, so man, it's a real weird thing, and like it is creepy. Like at the beginning of this, I think I said I wasn't even scared anymore. It is super creepy, and the first time I played through it, I was like, holy crap, this is scary, and people are super mad because it's not, quote unquote, not Resident Evil. I don't care. I think it's awesome.
But they did say it's not part of the game.
No, the demo is not part of the game, but it's ostensibly to show you what gameplay would be like and what the game would be like.
Right.
So like it's first person, and it's much more like survival horror than many of the recent Resident Evil games have been. So
what I like about it is the idea of going back to those slow-moving zombies and you being in a confined space, like inside of a house. I mean, like if it was first person, you were in that house and there was like 3 zombies in it and you didn't really have any weapons. You just had to find whatever you were doing. I mean, that would still be freaky. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And like, what's with the woman in the videotape? Like, what is that?
There's a ghost girl that shows up at different points, only in the VHS, at least that I've found so far. I think there's 7 different locations she'll show up, and where she shows up also depends on the sequence in which you do other things. So she'll show up outside the house, because you start off outside the house in the VHS tape. She'll show up outside the house next to the porch. As you walk in, she could also show up in the doorway.
Does it end every time she shows up, or you just see her?
You just see her for like a second. She's on the screen for a second, and then she disappears. So she can show up.
I saw something at one point. That's what it was.
I'm sure you did. Like, she'll show up outside the house, upside down in the doorway if you turn around right after you enter the house in the VHS. She's there.
I did turn around, but I don't know if I saw her that time.
Well, it depends on what sequence
made me. This game seriously made. Like, this is why I can't imagine doing it in VR, because this game, Chad was in a party with me, so he could hear my reactions, and I was actually trying to be comical about it just to like relieve some of my own intense moments. And it was like, I go in and it's like I got to go to this corner, like especially like the VHS room. Like I'm going in and I'm like, I don't want to turn around and look at that doorway because I feel like something's gonna be there. When you have the controller, you move so slow. Like you turn slower, as I imagine you would in VR, and it's like the shock value of just you hear something behind you, you turn to look at it, and I mean it's just so intense. And like the way I played it is I did pretty much everything you're saying. I didn't reread the note, so I've only played it once. And I actually just deleted it to make room for something else because I just needed a little extra room because I'm already maxing out my console. But I went through there and did everything, and the guy punched me out at the end, and then it showed the videotape. I think it ends with.
The ending of it is like the guy trying to cut you loose, or like whatever viewpoint you've got, whoever that is.
So yeah. So we don't know if it's you that got punched out or if it's just going back to the other guys that were in the. Because you get the guy in the camera gets punched out, and then you as the player also gets.
Well, the guy in the VHS tape, he doesn't get punched out. That guy falls on top of him when he finds him in the basement. If you play the VHS tape all the way through.
Right, that's what I did. Oh yeah, I didn't know you could back out. I walked down there and I told Chad. I actually posted a picture on Twitter of me standing right as I got down the ladder, and I saw the guy at the point I thought he was just standing. I told Chad, I said, this dude's just standing staring at the wall.
Yeah.
He's not moving. And then, you get up closer to him and you see why he's standing there.
Yeah.
And then I saw the guy down there. Like the other guy was down there. The guy that I saw someone else.
Really?
Yeah, like I saw someone. That's why That's at least
Okay,
how
I gotta play. See, I'm totally gonna play again after we finish the podcast.
That's how I remember it. Maybe it was wrong, but I remembered me looking at that guy and saying, "Holy crap! That thing's impaled through his face."
Right.
And I saw someone coming at me, and I thought that's why my guy tried to move, and then the body fell on me, and I couldn't see the person anymore. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna have to play again.
Because that other
you know
dude.
what? You know what? The body falls on you, and then the boots walk up.
Yes.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know who that was. And then the other guy who hadn't come down the steps.
Yeah, he didn't come down the ladder.
So then, like, those two guys at the end of the video are those two guys, I'm assuming.
You would assume. Yeah.
So I don't know who the guy that you wake up as
Yeah.
is. Like,
They don't
and
make
I
it
found,
clear.
like in my first playthrough, I found the finger because I was just looking at stuff. But I never found that fuse. Like like when I woke back up after my first playthrough, I said, "Oh, you can play it again." Like, I wonder if I can go and just open this thing right away.
Yeah.
And I went and opened it right away, and then I was like, "Oh man, I can't play it again." So I turned
See,
it off.
that's where the fuse is. If you open that thing up right away, there's a table in there, and the fuse is laying on the table. Like, you have to find a lockpick in the VHS tape. You have to find a lockpick, and then lockpick a drawer so that it's open. And then when you come out of the VHS tape, you go back to that drawer, and the axe is in that drawer. So, like, stuff you do in the VHS tape helps you in the real world.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it's so good. And it's like so hard to figure out. And I'm gonna play again after we finish the podcast. I know I'm going to, but like, so
You should stream it.
there's like, yeah, I probably will. There's like a Reddit thread that I've been following, and people have been updating like with what they've supposedly figured out so far. It's really good. Like, people are like looking at the tiniest details to try and figure out what's going on. Like, when you walk up the stairs first, there are 3 mannequins. If you walk deep enough into the room, and then if you turn your back on them and then turn around, instead of facing the wall like they are when you walk up, they're facing you. And if you turn the corner to go back down the stairs, there's a mannequin standing in front of the stairs facing you.
That freaked. I told Chad that.
That was not there before.
It freaked me out. I thought it was a person.
There's like the jump scares in this game, and the overall ambiance and the setting, like, they're perfect. They're so good.
There's constant, like, you can constantly hear people moving, something.
Yeah,
moving.
there's footsteps. You can hear footsteps sometimes. The house creaks. You can hear people moving things around. There's crashing in the house. There's this clicking noise every now and then that people are trying to figure out if that's like means something. Man, it's so good. It's so good. So. Like, I'll keep everybody posted, and I will stream it at some point. And like, I'll stream, everything that I know so far, and then I'll do some more work and try to figure out the finger thing. But man, it's really good. So that's really all I've been playing since our E3, since our last show. Just Rocket League and the Resident Evil 7 demo.
It does not sound like fun.
It's
at all.
It's
Not
really
even a little
good.
Nope.
So yeah, that's it.
Okay, Dave, how about yourself?
Well, I'll keep this kind of short, but I got the Rocket League Platinum. I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not. Did that. I played some Alienation with you, Chad. That was really fun. Been playing lots of Overwatch. I was only home like 2 days last week, and I'm actually going to only be home 2 days this week, so it's frustrating in that aspect. But so played Overwatch with some of the guys, beat some more levels on Super Meat Boy. I'm just for some reason determined to finish that. I played NBA 2K16 and took my created player Freak, which is such a dumb nickname, all the way into the pros. And I just deleted it off of my PlayStation to make room for some more games. I've kind of got sucked into Ratchet and Clank for a little bit. I started playing it, and I had some other thing, like Uncharted 4 and stuff to play, and when I came back to it, and I've kind of got sucked into where I played like 3 levels, and I'm wanting to get everything you can get in that game, and that's really fun. Started The Witness. And before I knew it, I had like done like 80 something puzzles, and
It's real good.
the last time I played it, I got on the boat and started going around. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much on here, and everything I've been hearing from people I've experienced so far, where they really reward you and they make you feel smart for figuring out the
You
stuff.
feel like the smartest person in the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's only been one thing that I did that I didn't know how I did it. I just tried. At that point I just started moving things and it worked. But most of the stuff by trial and error, and then from some of the other puzzles, you start reading. Oh, okay, so this kind of applies
Yeah.
here, and this is
Yeah,
here. Like
together.
the best one, my favorite one, which I've kind of already mentioned this. I think I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, but it was an area that I won't spoil, but it had something to do with the wires going to it, and I backed up and looked at something. I saw a shadow, and I was like, I wonder if that. I mean, like there was nothing telling me this is how you do it.
I know. What you're talking
I hadn't done anything like that, and I went back and I looked at it and I said, huh, I wonder. So I took a picture of it literally with my phone, and I went back and I go, I'm just gonna do it like this. And it worked, and I was just like, holy crap, like that was so cool. Like nothing told me that's what it was. I just thought maybe, that'd be, what if this works? And I tried it and it worked, and then there's been so many other things that it's really cool. I mean, you just have to try it.
The great thing about that game is even if you quote unquote cheat and look up the solution to a puzzle, you may solve that puzzle, but the point of the game is not the solution to a single puzzle. It's learning the concept that helps you solve those puzzles. So, like, if you're going to cheat your way through that game, you'd have to cheat on every single puzzle. Like, it's not like it's a game that really, really rewards you for actually playing and not for cheating. Like, if you cheat, it's almost pointless to cheat because you're just going to have to do it on the next puzzle and the one after that and one after that. Because the concept is what you need to learn, not like any one solution.
Yeah,
it's a good game.
So I played that, and other than that, I finished Doom. I had rented through GameFly Doom and finished that on Xbox. Really enjoyed that. Very, very good game. I finished Firewatch on PS4, which was really good. I was kind of disappointed though. One thing I was disappointed in is that there was not a what's her name in the tower?
Delilah.
There was not a picture of Delilah on that camera.
Yeah, see,
Picture of her.
People say that they were upset that they didn't get to see her, and then some people were like, I would prefer it that way. I think I'm in the camp that like prefers that you not see her. Like that kind of lets it be
horrifically ugly.
Well, it kind of lets it be like this kind of beautiful, like, he had a friend when he needed one, and she was like flirty and he was flirty, and like it was weird, and like it was this weird thing for a second, and like you knew that they had met up like in the game, but like whatever you were picturing about this lady and like the dialogue options and whatever like relationship options you chose for the two of them, like you never actually see her in the game, and it leaves it kind of open for this like.
I just thought it was odd that they let you see yourself. They let you see the boy and the dad. They didn't let you see your wife. She had the camera in front of her face. But then, so you didn't see any female characters in the game.
Did you guys know that those pictures you take with your camera, you can actually get physical pictures of those?
I did not know that. That's
cool. I didn't know either.
Yeah, if you go to their website, what's the name of the developer? I forget. But you go to their website and you can send it off and pay something, and they'll send you actual photos of the photos you took.
That's really cool. Yeah, that is. So I finished that, enjoyed it. I also finished The Order 1886, which I actually really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the story. It was short.
Yeah.
But I would play the sequel.
Yeah.
I liked the story. I like that kind of stuff anyway, so I enjoyed that. And then I played in I obviously didn't finish the Resident Evil 7 demo because I only played through it once. But played that, and that was...
You're going to reinstall that, aren't you?
Probably.
Now.
I mean, I only have 2 days. I just got Mad Max for the PS4 in the mail from GameFly, which I've never played. I kind of wanted to play that and see what that was like. But I just got so little time.
Yeah.
It can only be good for us to have 2 brains on this, Dave, instead of just one. If we're working on it together, maybe we could crack it.
Yeah.
I saw Dave's look when you started telling him about all the different 4 endings. He was like, "What?" I could see it in his eyes.
Well, I mean,
I gotta try this.
the idea of me playing it and kind of knowing where the scares are, like, okay, now it's just about let's figure this stuff out. Because I got that way with PT,
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I got to get this ending because I know it's there. I mean, with that one, we knew it was there.
Yeah.
And so then it was just like, okay, I got to get the phone to ring this many times. I got to go back and do this, and okay. Now it was still a little bit. PT was a little bit different because I never figured out exactly when she was going to show. It just seemed like she was such an ominous creature in that thing. I hated where it's like, okay, you got to walk towards her, and then to trigger this, but then it's like if you go too close, she'll she's going to eat you or whatever. Oh gosh, it was just crazy.
It's still as many times as I've played through the Resident Evil 7 demo, I haven't gotten all the instances yet of the ghost girl showing up. And so every time I see her show up in a new location, it's still jarring. Like, it's scary. The first time I saw her was the worst possible, I think, location. Like, as you're walking into the house in the VHS tape after the guy disappears and you're looking for him, you're walking down the hallway, and there's that little area underneath the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the instances of her showing up is, like, in that area underneath the stairs.
Which is very small.
Yeah, you barely glimpse her as you're walking by, and so, like, I just happened to catch sight of her as I was walking by, and that scared the crap.
It's like you didn't want to look back. I mean, I would
No.
like, not want to turn around and look again.
And then, like, she showed up on the stairs one time, and, like, as I was coming around the corner out of the kitchen, and that was, like, because she's, like, right there in front of your face in that case, and, like, man, it's still jarring every single time. It's so good.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope.
Yeah, but it's like when you think about the fact that it's not connected to the actual game, you would think that those items would have use.
They would have to do something, and that's the thing people are saying. Like, if this is not in the full game, then there's gotta be something more to it. There has to be. So, I don't know.
I look forward to hearing you talk about it again next week.
I will, I'm sure.
That'll be my experience with this game, I do believe. Anything else, Dave?
Nope, that's it for me. Oh,
All right.
other than I've been playing more Factorio on my PC on Steam or my Mac on Steam, which I haven't talked about in a long time. But I've got a really complex big factory going on, and there's just so much to that is just not even explained in the game. Like, I have lots of things I can build. I don't even know what they do. I don't even know how to do it. I have to, like, go onto a wiki to look at it and figure out. And it's like down to, like, man, why is my Steam engine not working anymore? Like, why am I'm not getting enough power here? And then I had to, like, realize, oh, okay, so I don't have the pipes running right, or something simple where I'm getting too much cold water going in here because you got to heat the water up. And then there's, like, I started messing around with the oil where you can pump oil out of the ground. You got to run it into a refinery, and then you got to, like, run pipes out of this one into this other thing here to, like, refine the crude oil. And then you got to refine, like, the thing over here that's like different color oils that come out of this thing. And then you can, like, make lubricant, or you can make, like, stuff eventually that turns into sulfur. You can make sulfuric acid, and you can actually make batteries that power something else. And then you got all these little tiny factories that are, like, you're putting in to make this one item, so you can make this thing over here. So you got to build all of these different power structures just to power this little area. Like, I've now sectioned off the map to where, okay, this is where all of my factories are built, where I'm making things here, and all of these factories are for the sole purpose of making these potions, which I can then use I've, like, got, like, 10 laboratories set up where I'm filtering all these red, green, and blue potions too, so I can research more things in my tree and eventually build this, missile silo so I can launch back into space or something. time I've got to make sure that I'm still feeding ammunition to all my turrets because I've got a big wall. Like my wall is so big and my area is so big that I actually have a train that I've built with tracks that run the length of the map back and forth, so I can get back and forth to different camps because I'm running out of resources here, so I got to branch out and find more resources.
Wow.
And so I've got to battle the aliens that are in this world to get to it, and then I got to make sure I'm protecting everything along the way. It's one of those games where it's like so much.
Sounds like work.
It sounds like it'd be right up my alley, but yeah, it sounds like I'd get stressed.
It's a lot of stuff, But with traveling as much as I do, it's one of the only things I do on the road as far as gaming.
You know,
I thought about buying a game case though.
Well, and I'm actually surprised of the trophy bug that has bit you, that a Vita is not on your short list.
Oh yeah,
because you get trophies on those.
Yeah, I know, but I've never been a huge mobile gamer. I don't know why. It's just never hit me. Like ever since Game Boy. I mean, I think Game Gear was the last mobile.
Yes, but
I never had.
Never, and that's not mobile. It's handheld.
Well, handheld. Sorry.
And I think the trophy thing. I know the trophy thing. I think would hook you, and I think it'd probably surprise you the way things look. Like you're playing on your Mac and you're saying, I want you on a game case or whatever where you could play your actual system, which obviously would be better. But
I can't play all the games I want on the Vita.
You could remote play.
Well, since we game share, he would remote play
so.
on mine. He'd remote play mine because mine is his home PS4 now.
Oh.
Yeah, we've run into that where I'm in the middle of playing and all of a sudden Chad's controlling my PlayStation from somewhere else.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We had to have a whole text conversation about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I forgot about the fact. So I don't even know why I'm talking about it right now because I can't do it because I'd be controlling his Xbox or his PlayStation.
Right.
But
anyway,
I don't know. I mean, I did think about getting the games case though, but I just don't know. But this Factorio thing's fun. It definitely takes a lot of my time. Like I'll get to the hotel and I'll just like sit in my bed and play this thing. And it's like, and I even told my roommate the other day, I was like, I don't even know what my ultimate goal is. I just keep building and keep building. And I guess the mission, the optional or the ultimate objective is to like launch a missile back up into space or either launch your own space shuttle back into space or something. And at this point, it looks like that's the last thing to research. But there's just so much to do, and it's like, oh man, I haven't even tapped into this area of research. And like, I've got mechs I can build to like not mechs, but like kind of like what you would use in Advanced Warfare, like a suit for myself to use. It's kind of a mech, and I have to research all this stuff to get to that point. I've got part of it researched, and I've got like portable solar panels I can put into a suit, and then I've got like my own overshields I can use, and my weapons I'm advancing those, and I can eventually build a tank to roll around in to shoot these aliens. These aliens are starting. I just realized I haven't read this, so I didn't know. I mean, it only has a short tutorial, and then it's kind of like, okay, figure it out. And the aliens, I'm just now realizing they're also advancing too at the same time as me. Mm-hmm. It's not just these basic creatures, because all of a sudden I'm like, as I'm doing all this stuff, I'm getting alerted every time that my perimeter is being tested. And for the most part, I would go up there and I'd be like, okay, so my turret's killed them. That's fine. So I usually avoid it because it'll also tell me if something gets destroyed. Because there's a notification your turrets are attacking something, and then there's a notification if they get destroyed. Well, just recently, after so many hours put into it, one of them I went and I checked it out, and my wall hadn't been destroyed. And I'm like, well, like how the heck did they? And then I realized they've mutated into something that they can now shoot from a distance. And so they're shooting over my wall and hitting my turrets without them getting killed. And I'm like, oh, crap. So I had to research my turrets to where they have a longer range and more powerful. And now I've just researched into laser turrets, and I haven't even started to replace my regular ammunitions turrets yet with these laser turrets, because I don't even know what kind of a deal as far as power that I'm going to be dealing with. Because right now I've researched solar panels but they only work during the day. And now I just recently researched, okay, so there's something that's like power storage, so I can like run a bunch of solar panels, and if I have like these power storage things connected to it, they'll store power in that, so when it goes nighttime, they can run off the storage units. And I have to have enough of those so I can power all these other things. But the more you build, the more you stress that power line.
Wow.
So you got to keep doing that, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just when I get to the point to where I've got this running good, and I got conveyor belts going everywhere, conveyor belts going over top of each other, arms like reaching. You got like 7 different types of arms. Like you got a coal-powered one. Then I've moved to okay, now it's electric, so I don't have to worry about feeding it with coal. Because that was like the hard part to do. I always got to feed coal and everything. Well, now I don't have to worry about mining coal because now I'm building like solid fuel out of researching the oil and burning it and doing all this. But now I'm dealing with my inserters, or term that I'm using from the game, but
Sick.
They're faster and faster, and then they pick only certain things, and they move only certain things, and these ones reach extra far and go. It's very confusing, but also very cool to see your factory running and just everything doing this. But now I'm running out of resources, so I'm going to have to. It's crazy. I like it, but it's crazy.
Sounds like it.
Yes.
Dang.
It is.
All right. Okay. So as Dave mentioned, I played a little Alienation with him. Played some Overwatch with some of the guys. I played the Wolfenstein: The Old Blood.
How is that? I never played it.
Did you play the New Order?
Yes.
Okay, it's a lot more of that.
I mean, I know it is. It's
Yeah.
Expansion to it, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's more of that. It's a standalone, but it's
not
just
as long,
more.
right?
I haven't finished it. I've heard it's not as long, but it's just more of the New Order, which is good. Yeah, which is good.
Are you the same character?
Yep, you're Blazkowicz still.
Immediately afterwards, or the time? What's the time?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you, because I think it's like you're remembering something from the past, I believe. So I think it's a prequel, actually.
Okay.
But you're in the Nazi stuff like immediately, so
right.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
Got it real cheap. So, and then I did play The Witness a little bit. I forgot I started that and went through. I don't know. Opened the first big door, and then you're like in the real big area where you can go a lot of different places, and there's like some green panels and blue panels, and I figured both of those out, and then I quit right after that. So I like that. I could see myself just sitting and just kind of relaxing and playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finished last night. I platinumed Uncharted 4.
Nice.
Yeah. So platinum number 2 for me.
Good job.
Yeah, it was. I love that game. Even playing through it almost 3 times now. And then doing the whole 70% trick and the speedrun trick worked real good. And yeah.
See, I didn't. I got the 70% trick by actually doing it.
Well, I shot a few guys in the prologue.
And then would you have like 90%?
It was like 86, and then I quit and played the epilogue and got it that way. So, yeah, it was cool. I like that game a lot. So
I don't even really feel like that's. I mean, you've played the game 3 times.
Yeah,
it's a little obtuse to have to play it.
Right.
Yeah, totally. But hopefully they'll do some DLC. Yeah, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. You have the same amount of platinums I have now.
Hey. Ratchet and Clank I'm real close to as well. So
I saw that. That's gonna be
Yep. So that's all I've been playing. I have not had a chance to play a ton. I was on vacation a couple weeks before, and then this week, other than game night last week, which is the night we podcasted, I haven't really played much since. So, other than last night, so there we go.
A little bit of semi-breaking news, not quite breaking news. As of just a little bit ago, GameStop has confirmed that the Nintendo NX will not be a digital-only console.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today. They from an earnings call that they will still be part of the trade-in and the used game.
Yeah, it will have some form of physical media, quote-unquote.
Yeah, either optical or cartridge-based.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Tell us what it is, Nintendo. Just tell us what it is, please.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that moves us along to our final segment of the evening, and that is Game Scoops 20 Questions.
Scoop.
All right. So, Josh.
So dude.
Yeah, right. So Dave-like. Josh has chosen this week's game, and Dave and I are going to figure it out.
I didn't get my paper to write my notes down. Oh well.
I didn't either. I had scrap.
I was out of it for a second, and I almost just was like, yeah, I picked this week.
That would have been the quickest game ever.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, start us off.
All right, Josh, is this game a game that was released prior to January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you wear a hat in this game?
You can.
What was that question?
Do you wear a hat?
Do you wear a hat? Okay, Justin Davis. You can wear a hat, though. That is an interesting response. Pre-2000, you have the option of wearing a hat. I wonder if that means that you have the option of playing different characters.
Sure.
Was this game released prior to January 1st?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Was it 1990?
Was it released prior to 1990?
No.
January 1st. Okay. So it's in that decade.
Is this a Nintendo exclusive game?
Yes.
Excellent, Chad. So this must be the 64?
Most likely. It could be.
Could be a handheld as well, but.
And it could be a Super NES game as well. In the 90s.
Josh, did you control this game using an analog stick?
Ooh, good one.
Like a joystick?
No, like did your controller have an analog stick on it?
I'm not sure what an analog stick is.
Really?
Like a joystick? Is that what we're saying?
Well, yeah, like the PlayStation has 2 analog sticks on it right now.
Okay, yeah.
The N64
yes.
controller had one analog stick on it.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
So it's a Nintendo 64 game.
Yes.
Which we could have just asked that question.
It is interesting to know that Josh doesn't call it an analog stick, though.
I mean, yeah, I just call them joysticks. They're essentially joysticks.
They were modeled after joysticks, yeah.
So what Nintendo 64 game could you wear a hat? Now let's maybe we need a bit more specific. Do you shoot a gun in this game?
Kind of.
You shoot a gun. So that you could be controlling a vehicle that shoots weapons, that has weapons.
That wears a hat?
I don't know how to be more specific than kind of.
Well, okay. We got 2. You can wear a hat and kind of shoot a gun.
What are we at? 6? What are we on?
Yeah, this is number 7 now.
Can you play as an animal?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, is this was there? No, because that was Sony. Say this wouldn't be a Crash Bandicoot game, right?
No. Yeah, PS1.
Right. You can wear a hat, you kind of shoot a gun, and you can play as an animal.
Yeah, so there's multiple characters.
Okay.
And you kind of shoot a gun, so it could be... It could be...
Beyond Good and Evil? Could you play it? Beyond Good and Evil. Could you play as anyone?
I can't remember that. What is that?
It's where you're that lady. It's but I don't know if she wears a hat, and I'm pretty sure it's yes on the gun thing. It has the pig that you talk to with the big tusks.
Pig with the big tusks.
They're talking about making another one, Beyond Good and Evil. Well, they made Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I'm sure I played it. Maybe we need to... do we need to ask if we pilot a vehicle or something?
Yeah, we can. Josh, do you pilot a vehicle in this game?
Yes.
Do any characters in Star Fox wear hats?
Slippy does.
Okay. I couldn't.
I guess that's kind of shooting a gun, sure.
Yeah. Should I ask if this was like polygonal?
Polygonal?
Ligonal? Whatever it is.
You could, yeah.
Josh, is this game
Polygonal.
is the design style polygonal?
No.
No. So it's not Star Fox.
Star Fox 64 wasn't polygonal anyway, right?
Yeah, that's like kind of what it's known for.
Oh no, the Super Nintendo
Super
one
Nintendo.
was.
was
Oh,
polygonal.
you're right.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep.
So that
That's
doesn't
not
rule
right.
that doesn't rule it out at all, does it?
Doesn't rule it out. No.
Hey, Josh. One is one of the animals that you can play as in this game a fox?
That's such a good question, and I'm gonna have to look it up.
What? Is he throwing us off?
No,
don't think
I'm
he
not
even
intentionally
throws
trying to
off.
throw you off. Hang on.
There's no way it's Star Fox.
Obviously not, then, huh?
But as far as like animals, like not sure what kind of animals you can play as.
Uh-huh.
What the heck?
How many different kinds of animals are there?
That's not a yes or no question.
Yeah, you can't ask me that question.
I'm asking Dave that question.
Well, I don't know what the game is.
No, it's speculation. Is
Well,
what
gosh,
I'm
Chad,
saying.
A to Z, there's a lot of animals.
I just. What games?
Armadillo.
Okay, what game? Aardvark would be first, sir.
Okay, I don't think I see any foxes.
My point to you, Dave, is if there are so many animals, they have to look at a list. What game could that be?
Gosh, man, it's in Nintendo 64. I could go back at my memory banks. And you kind of shoot something, and you pilot a vehicle.
Right, you pilot a vehicle. You can wear a hat, and you kind of shoot a gun.
I'm not being intentionally vague.
Oh my gosh. I feel like it should be screaming at me because this is very descriptive. Like, this is very unique.
Uh-huh.
Why can I not think of it?
Right.
Oh, wait. What about... No, you're not piloting a vehicle. I was thinking of, like, Pokemon Snap. Like, you shoot a camera, but it's not a gun.
I don't think
And
that
you're
would
not
be a
really
kind
piloting a vehicle. Huh?
I don't think that would be a kind of answer.
Yeah.
So do you think we could play as a human as well?
Maybe. Maybe perspective or whether you're...
Right, or we could go like genre type of game, platformer.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question was polygonal, so...
Well, I asked about the fox.
Oh, you did ask about the fox.
So this is question 11.
Is this, Now wait, your question, Chad, was can you... Is one of the characters a fox, right? You didn't say can you play as a fox.
No, it was can you play as a fox? Is one of the animals you can play as a fox. And you
Okay.
have to look at a list, apparently, to
Yeah,
find
that's
out.
very crazy.
Not on the list.
What?
Fox is not on the list.
Can you play as a fox? Well, okay. What about like a Looney Tunes game or a cartoons like an Animaniacs game or something like that? Maybe.
Maybe.
Which wouldn't
We
be
could
first
ask
person.
license.
Is this a licensed property? That's a good question.
No. Well, no.
These answers are not concrete.
It's not a licensed property. No, it's not a licensed property. Don't read anything into that.
It's kind of hard not to.
It is, but that's okay. I understand what you're saying.
These have been strange answers. The first one was you can.
You can't. So yeah, you can. Is this a platformer?
No.
What on earth are we missing that's so what should be obvious? 64. Is this played in a third person over the shoulder view?
Yes.
What?
That's not how I would primarily describe it, but
Well, right. You're
yes.
in a vehicle, so it's not a cockpit view or something. I guess I could have asked in a different way, but what the heck, Chad? Piloting vehicles as animals, multiple animals, maybe wearing a hat.
Yep.
I don't know why I thought Looney Tunes or Animaniacs piloting vehicles. I guess I wasn't thinking. What the heck? And the question about piloting vehicles wasn't you can, like the first
It was a
one.
straight up yes.
So it doesn't sound like something that you can jump. I mean, you might be able to jump in and out, but the primary, I would think the primary point of this game is you're in vehicles.
So what games have animals that drive vehicles?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. I mean, I was trying to think of animals first. I mean, I thought of Conker's Bad Fur Day. I thought of.
Hey Josh, are these vehicles primarily airplanes or flying vehicles?
Not primarily.
Oh gosh, freaking go-kart. What about that?
Oh, good.
Why
Okay,
the heck
duh.
was I not thinking about this?
Oh my gosh, duh.
Um,
Mario Kart 64.
yeah. What? Let's see. Does this game have a course in it called Rainbow Row?
No.
Rainbow Road. Road, not
I
Rainbow
said road.
I would not have.
Did you not hear my D?
No, I didn't. I heard Rainbow Row.
I would not have discounted that answer because he left off a D, but no, it does not have a course in it named that.
What other kart racers were there?
Diddy Kong Racing.
Okay.
You definitely wear a hat as Diddy Kong.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Ask if well,
Play as a monkey. If a monkey's a character.
well, I mean, a monkey can be a character in Mario Kart too, even though it's not that game.
Right.
Ask if there's like a bunch. Well, Mario Kart also has bananas.
Yeah. Can you play as a monkey? Is a monkey a character you can play as?
Yes.
I think you got it, Dave.
Do one of the monkeys in this game wear a red shirt?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Now, was there more than one of those?
Yeah.
This is question 18. Josh, is this game a sequel?
No.
I think it was just called.
Diddy Kong's Racing.
I think it was just Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe, yeah.
This is question 18. I say go for it.
Go for it, or should we ask if this is in like the Donkey Kong universe?
I think we got it.
Josh, I don't want to be wrong. Is this game Diddy Kong Racing?
Yes, it is.
Good job, Dave.
So,
why did we not go karts earlier? Why the heck?
I don't know.
Your vehicles are not primarily airplanes, although they are at times.
Sure.
You can be like airplanes.
You kind of shoot guns in that I don't know what you would call it when you shoot those weapons.
Projectiles, sure.
Diddy Kong wears a hat. And then there are no foxes on the list, although Conker from Conker's, it's a rare game. So Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day is in the game.
He's a squirrel.
As well as, he's a squirrel. As well as like 6 other characters other than Diddy. No foxes on the list though. Game was published in North America on November 24th, 1997 for the Nintendo 64. Like the reason I hesitated for a second about the licensed property is it's not a licensed property in that it's a first-party Nintendo property.
Sure.
But the game was not developed by Nintendo; it was developed by Rare. But it was still exclusive to Nintendo. So for the purposes of how we ask that question, no, it's not a licensed.
Makes
property.
sense. Makes sense.
But yeah,
Cool.
so
Good game.
Not
Good choice.
purposely ambiguous on the answers, but they were just hard to answer.
That was good. That was good. I like it.
That was such a good game. I remember, like, I never actually owned this game, although I played it at a few friends' houses. The first time I ever played this game was at one of those demo stations in a Walmart, which was also the first way that I ever played GoldenEye. But every time we would go to Walmart, I would head straight to the Nintendo 64 demo station, and this was on it for a long time, and I got real good at it. And it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun, and it was completely different than Mario Kart.
Yeah.
In that, like, you were flying. There was like there was a plane, a hovercraft, and a cart. And it was all the same vehicle. It would change automatically. But yeah, there were levels where you'd actually be flying around, and is it the y-axis or the x-axis that's up and down?
Why?
So the y-axis actually mattered in those maps because you're flying like up and down as well as left and right. And it added a whole new dimension to the game. It was pretty fun.
Cool. Good choice. All right.
Playing it. Had lots of fun playing it.
Yeah, me too. I haven't played it a ton, but I did play it. So, all right. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 71. We do have some people to thank real quick.
We want to thank some awesome people. First off, we want to thank Mr. Evan Steele, a.k.a. Generally Accepted, our very first Patreon supporter. Guest on the show last week for the E3 reaction show. He moderated our scoring for our E3 predictions, so thank you to him for that. So thank you, Mr. Evan Steele. We also have on the list Mr. Jake Steele, a.k.a. Paco Steele, Mr. Rylandaller, Mr. Andrew Complin of the very famous Sarah Complin Daycare, and also the always lovely, always smells wonderful, always beats me in Tetris, and apparently beats other people in Tetris,
Yes.
Miss Cecilia Renee Choi.
Hey, it's my sister's middle name.
Hey, and thank you so much to all of you people who like what we do enough to actually reach into your pockets and give us some spare dollars. We very much appreciate it.
I want to give an extra special thanks to those people for every single person so far has stayed supporting us. They haven't decided, what a waste.
We haven't lost anything. Very true.
So, thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it.
It's exciting, man. It's exciting to have a little bit of money left over to do cool stuff like that giveaway.
Yep. I have some ideas on some giveaway stuff that I want to run past you guys here real soon.
It's pretty cool.
Yep, and then also to thank a couple people more. Dave.
Yes?
Thanks, Dave, for being on
welcome.
the podcast. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Chet. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah. Josh. Thanks, man.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thanks for taking the time every week to do this. It is appreciated.
My pleasure.
I remember the first time that Chad said, hey, man, think about doing a podcast? Like, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. Like, I did an episode last night by myself, and I kind of didn't like doing it by myself. Like, do you maybe want to do one? And I was like, okay. And I set it up in my garage, and we were kind of like, hey, I started playing video games when just a little kid, and it was the NES. And it's crazy just in 70 episodes. I mean, it's not like we're like professional, radio talk show hosts or whatever, but
definitely not.
It's crazy to see it go from episode 1 all the way to episode 71.
Yeah.
It's been very interesting, very
remember
fun.
the very first one I was on was fairly early. I think it was in the teens or 20s.
Mhm.
And I remember like actually being kind of nervous because I was like, I feel like these guys game a lot more than I do, and so I did tons of homework before that episode. Like Chad sent out the outline, like he always does, like a day or two early, and I did tons of homework. I had handwritten notes next to me. Like I did so much homework on all the stuff that was on the outline. I was super prepared. I didn't want to sound like an idiot, you know. And then I wasn't super sure like when I should be talking or how much I should be talking. And now I'm gonna let everybody in on a secret. I don't prepare at all. No, that's not true. I still prepare a little bit. But yeah, good times, man. We've come a ways.
It's grown a lot. It definitely has. It's changed quite a bit, more than I ever thought it would be, to be honest with you. So
That's good.
that's cool. And we continue to look forward and enjoy doing them. I enjoy doing them every week. And we look forward to it to continue growing and seeing more people join. So for those of you that do listen and maybe give us some money,
Hey,
let people know.
I mean, I knew Evan through his wife, who I went to high school with. So I knew who he was. But like Evan, Paco, Jordan specifically, not Jordan specifically, but those three guys specifically, I never did anything with them before this podcast. Didn't play games with them. Didn't, just barely knew who their family was. And
I didn't know who they were at all.
Yeah, because of this
I
podcast.
will say, I don't hate playing games online with those guys.
That's good.
Which is more than I can say for most people.
I think you guys should take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Obviously.
See, now you guys can stop asking me why he's always offline.
I always appear offline, but I said before, if you send me a message, I may jump on and play with you.
Let's just every time you're on PlayStation, just spam him with messages because he's there.
Even if he's not
Playing Resident
online.
Evil. All right. That'll do it for this week's podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to providing more entertainment yet again next week. Episode number 72 is coming up. Oh, boy.
Yeah,
it is. Look out. The big 7-2. The milestone episode.
Yeah.
We're going to blow it out.
See you next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye. I want a piece of pizza bad. Seriously, I'm hungry. I want to eat. I'm just going to keep saying things forever and never stop until my candle from East Coast Candle Company. And it's going to smell like a bonfire in here all the time. So hurry up and send it now because I want it. Piece of pizza in your mouth. Let it go down.